Kitchen helper, Mr. P.
I let you.
Hey, get in here. Dallas is about to start.
Welcome to the Ewing Barbecue, where we play chicken in the pool for $200. My name is Mary.
And I'm Sarah.
And I'm Josh. I am going to just be paddling around in the pool in between those chicken matches. And I'm drinking the bourbon tonight. I don't know about the rest of you.
I'm just the water tonight.
I'm drinking a Halloween-themed beer, so it's all good.
Okay. So a little housekeeping. We have, I don't really want to push it too much, but Chiller Theater in New Jersey, the weekend of Halloween. John Ashton is going to be there, who played Jebber Willie Joe. I got to look that up. I think it was. And Barbara Luna, who appeared in the final season. She's going to be there. But the person that I've heard is backing out, but it's not confirmed yet, is Josh Henderson, who is listed on their website, but I've heard from good authority that he probably won't be attending. But Mary, there is another one coming up in November that you want to mention.
Yes, November 19th through 21st in Chicago, Illinois is the Days of the Dead convention. It's a horror convention, horror movie convention, but our Jenna Wade, number 3, Priscilla Presley is going to be there. So am I.
Woohoo!
I just booked my ticket.
And hopefully Sarah. We're
there.
hoping Sarah can make it too. And we're gonna have a little get together. And so if anyone is in the Chicago area, or if you're going to the convention, please hit us up, send us a message and let us know, and we'll try to put together some sort of like get together, and it'll be really fun.
We will be wearing our Ewing Barbecue podcast shirts, and hopefully that little situation with our distributor will be straightened out and people can get them and represent the podcast.
Because as of this moment, there's a hiccup with our merch, but I'm trying to, we just had like a new place doing it and there's a problem, but we're going to try to get it fixed, and I will let you guys know that information on Instagram and Twitter and our Facebook group.
Awesome.
I'll just shoot through a few Dallas birthdays here. It's a busy month for birthdays from Dallas. Annabelle Schofield on September 4th. Sharon Henderson, Josh's mother, was September 9th, along with Julie Gonzalo, who just turned 40. Linda Gray, speaking of 40, turned 81. She was born in 1940. She turned 81 on September 12th. Her little TV sister, Mary Crosby, turned 62 on September 14th. September 16th, Shalane McCall, born in 1972, turns 49. Morgan Woodward, who debuts tonight in the Venezuelan Connection as Punk Anderson, was born in 1925. George Chakiris, was from the Dream season, was born in 1934. Dawn Star, Jordan Lee, born in 1917. Our own beloved Larry Hagman. So today would have been his birthday, so we are recording on September 21st. He would have been 90. Martha Scott was born in 1912, who played Kristen and Sue Ellen's mother. Oh, all three of them were born in the same month. That's interesting. Beth Toussaint, Tracy Lawton, and Robert Ackerman played Franklin Horner, September 25th. Jonathan B. Goldsmith was born in 1938, and his birthday is mine, September 26th.
Happy birthday, Josh.
Thank you. Steve Forrest, who played Wes Parmalee, is 1925 was his birth year, September 29th. And Ian McShane, Don Lockwood, was born in 1942, September 29th. So I'm going to actually do a birthday calendar when we get, and our death anniversary when we get to our website.
Awesome. Yes, which we're working on. And speaking of working on, we finally figured out Patreon. So we have a Patreon now. If anyone is interested in helping support us, because we are actually putting a little bit more of our own money in right now, trying to make things a little bit better sounding and fancier fancier for y'all. So if you are able to, I know a lot of people are not able to right now, but if you are able to, you can help give us a little bit of money. We have several levels right now. We have a $5, $10, and $25 level. The $5 level gets you a shout out and you're helping us. We're going to have polls and you get voting power and then you're just supporting us. At the $10 level, you can talk to us. You can get everything at the $5 level. Plus, you can commission us to talk about certain things on the podcast, or you could commission whatever questions, topics, and we'll record it and deliver it to you. So if you can say, hey, can you talk about this? And then we'll talk about it and we'll send it to you, maybe even put it in the podcast. And then at the $25 level, that's where we're going to have extra episodes. We're going to do a book club where we're going to talk about the Lee Raintree book, maybe even read the Lee Raintree book. We're going to just talk about things that aren't even Dallas. We'll probably, review movies or TV movies or whatever. And
might do the Knots Landing crossover episodes. And I might also
that would be so awesome.
Might also
really
have
cool.
some Dallas interviews I did with the cast from Ultimate Dallas back in the day.
Back in the day, yep.
And among the interviews that I might pull out of the vaults, I ended up doing a conversation that ran almost 2 hours with David Jacobs, creator of Dallas and Knots Landing.
That's
I would
cool.
like to hear that.
I would like to hear that.
That would be a good
Yeah.
one.
Yeah. So that, and also we're crafty, so we'd probably send things to you, send you stickers and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, so check it out. It is patreon.com/EwingBBQ. And we'll post that online also. And that will be in your show notes also. So yeah, check it out.
How do you spell that? I'm sorry.
Oh, Patreon?
P-A-
It is patreon.com/EwingBBQ.
That's where I messed
That's a good
up.
question. Thank you. Tonight, we are talking about Season 4, Episode 6, The Venezuelan Connection.
One of us is going to have to do something about Bobby.
I just can't believe Bobby not talking to me about this.
Getting totally out of hand.
You are siding with Bobby against JR.
They're both my sons, Sue Ellen. Don't forget that. I don't. I won't have Bobby leaving South Fork again. For any reason.
Are you asking me to step down?
I'm telling you.
You're wasting my time.
Daddy thinks Bobby's doing a great job. And he didn't know he's heading for a fall.
But you do.
Wouldn't be surprised.
It was written by Lee Markus, directed by Leonard Katzman, and aired December 5th, 1980.
And some casting notes. We have, of course, E.J. Andre is back as Eugene Bullock. Joanna Cassidy from Who Framed Roger Rabbit, 6 Feet Under, and Buffalo Bill takes over as Sally Bullock, replacing Andra Ackers. William Wyndham, whom Steve Canale calls his favorite guest star, who only appeared in a couple of episodes, makes his first appearance tonight as some guy in the bar in Fort Worth that asked, he was kind of eyeballing Ray and Jock, and we'll learn more about him later.
Who's that?
Yeah.
Dun, dun, dun.
Let's see, John Hurd, who played Mr. Detective Mr. Mackey, okay.
Oh my God.
He also played Captain Dennis Sheridan on T.J. Hooker, which starred William Shatner and Heather Locklear, who was doing double duty on T.J. Hooker and Dynasty at the time.
Sam and Joe.
And that's become a little more commonplace today.
Before Tommy Lee.
With someone like Sarah Paulson appearing in everything Ryan Murphy does. But and Ted Gehring, who played Brady York, also appeared as Ebenezer Sprague on Little House on the Prairie. I don't know who watched, if we have Little House on the Prairie fans out there. You might recognize him.
I used to watch
And he was
it.
regular on Alice. Kiss my grits.
Kiss my grits.
This episode was number 1 for the week with a 37.3 rating.
Hell yeah.
Oh.
And a 62 share, riding the wave of Who Shot JR reveal in the Who Done It episode, 2 episodes earlier. And just one note on the filming in Fort Worth. The cast loved walking the streets of that old cow town, as they say, during breaks, and sneaking off to a Mexican restaurant called Joe T. Garcia's for lunch. And if anyone out there wants to Google that, they may still be in business. So a little trip down to Fort Worth, and you can go eat where the cast ate. That's it for me. Woohoo!
Cool.
All right.
And did we give a shout out to Melanie, who's not with us this evening?
Oh, yeah, we should shout out to Melanie. Is feeling under the weather, so she's not joining us tonight. So we hope Melanie feels better very soon.
We miss you, Mel. Oh, and also, by the way, Joe T. Garcia's is still open.
Oh, nice.
2201 North Commerce Street, Fort Worth, Texas.
Cool. Hell yeah.
All right. We'll dive right in.
Okay, so we open on early morning at South Fork.
Still shot on location.
Yes.
Windy hair, bobby hair.
The trees and the wind and all that stuff. And this first scene is actually very, very busy before we cut to another location. Yes.
Yep. So Bobby's headed out to work. He's like drinking his coffee and putting it down. He's on his way, and then Pam comes out, and she seems pissed. Because
she woke up on the wrong side of the bed.
All he wanted to talk about is the refinery and work last night, and she was not having it. It's just refinery.
He couldn't even remember what was on his dinner plate, and if dinner is that unmemorable, I'm not eating at that restaurant. So that's just my take.
Right.
Yeah.
I think the problem was more.
So they're just basically
Pam,
showing how consumed he is.
Yeah.
Pam says that JR will be very pleased with Bobby's work when he takes the company back. Like, that's just like a wet blanket.
Oof. Harsh. Because, actually, Pam knows what's up. We all kind of know what's going to happen. But, that's kind of pretty harsh to say it to Bobby's face.
I know. But, and it's going to be interesting watching the JR and Sue Ellen dynamic and the Bobby and Pam dynamic in this episode back and forth. Just...
Yes.
It's like yin and yang, as they're on opposite ends of the spectrum.
Definitely.
Because normally it's JR and Sue Ellen that are going tit for tat, and
like Bobby and Pam, who are like
annoyed each other,
like schmoozing and like cuddling in the background, but not today.
No. So Pam leaves with no breakfast because she's not the only one.
Yeah.
Bobby's not the only one that can be busy, and he's late for some meeting.
She's got shit to do. And then Ray comes and he's basically like, "Do you even still work here? Because we're running the ranch and you haven't been doing that." And Bobby's just like, "Yeah, I don't have time for that."
And the buzzword is refinery. If this were Pee-wee's Playhouse, and the word of the day would be refinery, and they would yell every time they heard refinery.
I will say, until I rewatched this one today, I watched this morning. I didn't realize. I don't really think I remember this about Bobby, like him getting this consumed and kind of getting caught up in everything. Yeah. It's kind of a forgetful episode to me for some reason. A lot of stuff goes on. It does, but it's kind of, it's not one that you're like, oh,
and we're in the aftermath of the whole reveal of Who Shot JR, and where do you go from that pinnacle?
Right.
How do you keep your audience?
I feel like we're setting up a bunch of stuff. Like right now, there's a lot of they're starting to put ingredients into the mix, but yeah, it's not super interesting yet.
Right, because the previous episode, you just put Kristen on a plane to California, and she ends up at Gary and Val's house in Knott's Landing for a little while.
Which I still think is crazy how she just got off scot-free.
Right.
It's just like, oh, okay, you shot me. Bye, get on the plane.
Boy, there was so much manure you could smell coming out of that staged act in front of the family and the detective. Oh, I just wanted to vomit.
Oh yeah.
Taste of success. How about taste of an Academy Award for your performance there.
After Pam leaves with no breakfast,
Then Ray came, and then after Ray, well, Ray's still standing there, and then, so JR was taken off guard by the whole refinery thing. Like, he didn't see that coming. So, he spent the entire night just calling all the girls, gossiping around town, figuring out what happened and how he was able to do that. And so then he finds out all the information, and then he tattles to Jock about it. And then
how could anybody
Jock
not
comes
hear
out
him in the middle of the
pissed.
night? Because there are thin walls in that house.
Right.
Yeah.
I think JR was downstairs on the phone in the office, which is probably away from the bedrooms, with the nightlight on and going through the Rolodex.
Had that bottle of bourbon right next to him.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, God, if the average person drank as much as the people do on this show, their livers would be shot.
Later in the episode, I noticed that
yes. I mean, they drink it.
JR's drinking white wine for breakfast, in the morning in the office. And I'm like, all right.
Which is odd in itself.
Starts drinking a glass of champagne, but Bobby won't have any of that and takes it out of his hand. But
Yeah, right.
So Bobby used
Anyway,
he sold off $100 million in Ewing assets, which is phenomenal when you think about that.
It's a bit of money, even
to pay
today.
for the refinery.
And this was 40 some years ago.
41 years ago?
Yeah, it's just
Yeah. And it's still today a shit ton of money. It was even more money then.
Yeah, because of inflation, it would have been higher. So
Yeah.
I'm just gonna pull it out of my wallet here. Here. Let me.
Yeah.
Let me get you. Let me get you $100 million. Oh, sorry, I'm tapped. Okay, bye. Jock he's pissed because Bobby doesn't consult with him. But Jock, you're retired. You got one foot in the retirement home and one in the office. You need to make up your mind. Are you going to go out and play bocce, or are you going to go in the office and work? I mean, what? Come on.
He's a backseat driver completely the whole way. He just can't help it.
And then JR walks away and drops a smirk, and Sue Ellen has been in the background the whole time observing all of this, and she's loving it. JR and Sue Ellen are loving it.
Oh yeah.
They're like two witches that are stirring the pot,
Oh, definitely. Yeah.
The witch and the warlock.
Mm-hmm. And then Ray's just still standing there the whole time, and he's just trying to be helpful, I think, and he's just trying to interject, for Bobby. And he's like, well, maybe it's none of my business, but you put him in charge. And Jock's like, that's right. It is none of your business. This is family stuff. Rah. And puts him in his place, kind of. And Ray's like, okay, my bad.
Which is an interesting thing to say. Foreshadow.
Foreshadowing.
Right.
Yeah. And Bobby actually name-dropped Main-wearing oil for the refinery in this episode. Another throwback there.
But basically, Jock just feels put in the middle between JR and Bobby, and he doesn't like it.
Clowns to the left of me and jokers to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with Jock Ewing.
Here I am, stuck in the middle.
But nobody's getting their ear chopped off like in Reservoir Dogs.
Thank God. Yes.
Although if JR had his way. So Ray wants Jock to go to Fort Worth with him, but we don't know when the scene ends whether he's going or not.
And then Sue Ellen in this scene, I hate it. I hate this whole thing with Sue Ellen, where the person she turns into when she's just blindly standing behind JR with up to everybody, JR's right, JR, blah, blah, blah. It drives me insane.
It does. And
because she gets so uppity and snooty and bitchy about it. And you're better than the Sue Ellen. Stop it.
She plays both sides of the fence a lot in this series because one day she'll be on Bobby's side because JR needs to be stopped, and then now she's on JR's side because Bobby needs to be stopped, and it's she
even confronts Miss Ellie.
Yeah, that.
she's like, you're picking Bobby's side, and Miss Ellie's like, I'm not picking a side. Like, they're both my sons, so I'm not picking a side. But
Miss Ellie's like, bitch, you better back the fuck up.
Back the fuck up, right?
I'm not going to have Bobby leaving this ranch. That's her drive this episode.
That is her drive. That's her. She has one thing, and she's like, I don't care what happens, but Bobby's not leaving this ranch.
And what was, and one more note on the scene outside was, JR's always never turns down an opportunity to put Ray in his place, and it was I half expected him to tell Ray to go play with the cows. This is family matter, something like that. But he didn't. He didn't do that.
Not yet. No.
Yeah.
But I think he's more concerned about Bobby right now. So
yeah,
it makes sense.
It does.
Let me cut to the store.
We finally leave the ranch about 20 minutes into the episode.
Finally. Yep.
I would love to have been the director coordinating all of the action in that first set of scenes. Just
there's a lot going. It really was a lot going on.
Yeah. So Detective Mackey, the PI, just calls to say, like, basically, I haven't found anything yet. And she's just like, keep looking. There's something. Keep looking until you find something. Then we cut to Ewing Oil.
There is major gloating going on here from Connie.
Major.
And this goes on like throughout the episode. She just is. She looks like the cat that swallowed the canary in this whole episode.
She really does. Like, she didn't do anything. I guess she's just proud of Bobby. I don't know.
Well, she works for
Bobby. Those secretaries get really competitive about the people they work for. I swear. For whatever reason.
Yeah.
And there's another smirk that she gives to Luella as well. More smirking going on. I want you to drink every time somebody smirks.
We'd be dead.
We'd be drunk on this episode.
We go into a meeting with Mr. Eugene and Sally.
Oh,
yeah.
Trivia question for y'all. Do you know what other famous movie that Sally played in? I kept seeing her face. I was like, who is that? Remember that movie, Don't Tell Mom Babysitter's Dead? I'm right on top of that, Rose. That's her.
Oh, my God. You're right.
I didn't know that.
Whoa.
That's her.
Yeah, I do. I
You know
totally
what I'm
do.
talking about?
And
she's the one that's the boss, and Christine Applegate's.
And
I'm right on top
Christine
of that,
Applegate's
Rose.
name in that movie is Sue
My favorite
Ellen.
movie.
And a little trivia. Christina Applegate's mother played somebody's secretary on Dallas in a later season.
Really?
Yes. Yep.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Really?
And
I did not know
Shalene
that.
McCall was on Married with Children for an episode with Christina Applegate.
And the guy who played Andy Bradley played Mr. I believe it was, he played a character on The Brady Bunch.
Cool.
Okay. That's enough.
Okay. 6 Degrees of Dallas. All right.
Yes.
I'm on top of that, Rose.
Okay, so yeah, but Connie congratulates Bobby and the refinery, smirking, and then the meeting. Oh, they want to broker crude, right?
Yeah.
There's a lot of business happening in this scene.
I did write down the numbers. 600,000 barrels at $30 per barrel for a total of 18 million to arrive from Venezuela in 5 days. Do you notice?
They want the money in advance.
You notice Sally kind of getting right up in Bobby's face, like she's trying to.
She's like this. I mean, she's like you can't. Other people can't see me. Are you gonna do it? Right up in his personal space.
Are you a chicken?
Was she flirting? I mean, did she want to get?
I think she was a little bit flirting, but she's also what's the word? I think she's pushing him to see what he'll do. Right?
Right. She's trying to be like a...
Yeah, I'm missing a word here.
Not aggressive.
Yes, it's definitely she's daring him to do it.
And Mr. Eugene sleeps well at night knowing that Sally is handling all the business.
Yeah.
In more ways than one.
Yeah, he's still sleeping. She's taking care of
Bet
it.
he does.
Well, he's so old, he probably can't get the derrick pumping anymore.
I feel like we that was kind of the consensus we came to last time they were in the show.
Yeah.
And then Bobby he's like, yeah, let's do it. I'll have the check ready this afternoon. And boom.
And then he, but
Triple dog dare taken.
stick that tongue on the flagpole. But
I smell trouble.
Doc. But there was a point in the scene where Mr. Eugene said, questioned whether Jock and JR approved or he had consulted with Jock and JR.
Right.
And every time comes up, it is like waving a red flag to Bobby. It just like...
Yeah, it really is. He gets pissed.
Yeah,
He tries to prove himself even more.
Yeah.
He's like a bull in Pamplona, just like running the streets. Then he asked Connie do we have anything cold and delicious to celebrate with? And I almost feel like if I were Connie, I'd go, yeah, my lunch is in the refrigerator. Cold and delicious. What? That was just a weird line to me.
Yeah, that was a little... It is weird. I didn't even...
That is cold. That is weird. I didn't even think
it.
I even heard it.
Maybe cold and bubbly or something. Bring in a bottle of champagne.
Cold and delicious.
Cold and delicious.
Or a celebratory
And it's like
glass
9
of
a.m.,
something.
you guys.
I don't know, but
They just came to the office.
that does sound good.
Well, Connie's lunch would be in the refrigerator, keeping cold, and it probably is delicious for Connie. I mean...
But I'm just saying, like, they're drinking, like we were saying earlier, they're drinking, it's like 9:30 in the morning.
Well, people
Which
have
would be good for them,
People have
but-
mimosas.
But that's adding orange juice to it, and that's different.
And you're in a restaurant. You're not in your place of business. Of course, in the 80s, that was totally different. My dad had stuff in his...
Hey, we need liquid courage to get through the day in those offices. We need plenty of liquid courage.
True.
Oh, yeah.
Of course, back in the day, you're smoking your office.
Not a lot of
too.
food gets eaten on this show because people will take 2 bites, they'll have an argument, and they'll get up and they'll leave.
That's true.
So
That's very true.
They have to get their nourishment somewhere, so it comes from the alcohol.
That's true. That's very true.
That's a good logic, Josh.
Let's head on down to Fort Worth.
And I've been there. That scene, Fort Worth Livestock. I've been there.
I want to go. I want to go. I want to
really
go.
neat. And it's not that far. We can drive, and it's not far. It's like 45 minutes, maybe. I think I can't remember. It's been 2 years ago, but it's really neat. Sorry.
So they're Jock and Ray are at the kettle auction, and they run into Punk Anderson and Pat Powers.
This scene is odd.
It is one of my favorite parts of it is when Jock finishes his beer and he goes and like shakes it like I'm out. Let's go. You know what I mean? Like it makes the weirdest face.
We need to go get some more liquid, as he calls it.
Right.
We can come back to these cows anytime. But the whole exchange, because we're led to believe up to now that Jock has been going to visit Punk Anderson, going to see him off screen because Morgan Woodward has not appeared until this episode.
Right.
But when they meet up, they're acting like they haven't seen each other in 20 or 30 years.
Maybe that's just how the good old boys act.
Maybe.
But is it just maybe...
He did skip his party not that long ago. Because they were going to, their barbecue.
Yeah.
So they didn't make it
right.
there. So maybe it's been a while for them. Because they're BFFs. And they usually spend a lot of time together.
And he refers to Bobby and JR as those 2 boys of yours.
Which is sad because there's more than 2 boys.
Yes.
I know he's talking about that of eating oil, but everybody always forgets about Gary.
Poor Gary.
And
Seriously.
Gary is actually the one that had the strength to leave home.
That's
true.
exactly right.
Yeah.
Take that, JR.
Yeah.
So they're gonna go get some. They're gonna get some more liquid and come back to the cows. But in that scene, those auctioneers talk really fast.
Yes,
Like
they
me.
do.
No, slightly faster than you, just slightly.
I can do that, though.
But I did manage to pick up that Jock and Ray did pick up some cattle at that in the beginning of the scene.
So they want to celebrate.
Yeah. So that was just a scene to give Jock something to do, just to get him out there.
Yep.
Because you have all these actors under contract, and some of them don't have much going on in their storylines, so you got to get them into the episodes.
Sure.
Somehow or another.
Yeah. So then JR comes into we cut back to the Ewing Oil. JR comes into the office.
Everybody goes nuts.
Uh-huh.
And he says, oh boy, if I got a reception like that, I'd go out and get shot more often.
Just you wait, JR. Just you wait.
Many more people.
Many times.
JR, do you see that bullseye taped to your back?
It's there forever.
It's a tattoo. It's a birthmark. Yeah. Oh. And who's coming out of the office?
Right on
Mr.
top of that,
Eugene and
right?
Sally.
Sorry. I'm delirious. Okay.
We've been off the air for a while. We're just getting.
Yeah.
Trying.
This is like how Stella got her groove back. Yeah. No.
That's right.
But then he finds out what's going on and with Mr. Eugene, and then JR's like chipper, and he's like, "Well, whatever Bobby wants to do, I'm behind 100%," which is suspect as fuck.
He's full of shit.
Total bullshit. Then they go into the office. They go into the office, and it's
This
a
is a
different
classic
tune.
exchange. Classic exchange.
Yeah.
Classic.
Yes, he's
And
just
it
like
really
Being like classic, like between Bobby and JR, the whole
back and forth
does.
dynamic, and you can really pick up on the chemistry that these actors have with each other.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. They're just bickering.
It pours through in a scene like this.
The bickering, and Bobby's like, "Oh, are you asking me to step down?" And JR's like, "No, I'm telling you to." Ooh.
Go play with toys that you know something about.
And Bobby's like, "No way.
It was like, ooh.
I'm staying here."
And what kills me is Bobby used to not ever want to be involved in Ewing Oil, right?
Right. He didn't. He had no
But I guess he feels like he's making.
Well, I think like he did it because like he stepped in, and then he was like, "Wait a minute. One, I'm good at this, and two, like I'm having fun. Like I like it."
Yeah.
Once you taste, taste the grapes, you keep eating the grapes. You want more, and you want to keep going.
Yeah, he likes it.
And I think deep down inside, he really does know it really irks JR.
Probably that too. Yeah.
When he does something good, when he's actually doing
totally.
And there's a lot of posturing going on between them.
Ugh.
And I like when Bobby comes over, takes the glass of champagne out of JR's hand, and said, "This meeting's over. Your office is down the hall."
You go to your
He's got
room.
some balls on him lately. You go to your room. Yeah, Bobby's getting some balls on him a couple of the episodes.
He is,
These episodes.
Some co-Jones.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's like, no, you're poopy pants. No, you're poopy pants.
Basically. I mean,
That's
Poopy pants.
Then we cut to Sue Ellen
Where's
at
my little
therapy.
niece?
Huh?
With her huge bangs swooped over to the side.
Yeah. Yeah.
Half her head is her bangs.
And we don't have the establishing shot that we've had before because that wagon is gone.
Oh.
Fucking wagon.
She has a new, smaller station wagon.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And she's just pissed at Bobby.
And
so she's just venting about Bobby.
Which is odd.
And she still doesn't know who posted her bail.
She doesn't?
No, because the scene starts with her wondering if Bobby had posted the bail.
That's right.
And we nobody really knows who posted that bail. It's kind of like one of those little things that they just kind of, okay, she got bailed out, but we moved away from it.
Yeah.
Do we ever find out?
Hang on.
Okay, yeah. I feel like I missed something. I don't know.
Hang on. Good things come to those who wait. I'll just say that.
Okay.
So, yeah, she's just going on and on about Bobby. And Dr. Elby's like, what about JR in all of this?
Yeah.
She's like,
Oh, he's wonderful. Yeah, cut to JR and Luella at the restaurant, and
exactly.
JR wants Luella to spy at the office, but says, "Oh, when your husband's out of town, maybe I'll come over for a quote unquote drink."
Right, and she's all about it. She's just like, okay.
I know, she looks so funny, and he looks so creepy, and he's holding that cane like Ebenezer Scrooge the whole time.
Yeah.
It's very creepy.
It is, because she's kind of, the way Luella's acting like is like, it's finally my turn. It's like, gross.
Well,
like,
I had Julie Gray, and now I'm going to have you.
And she's been married for like 2 months. Okay.
Yeah.
And her husband's always on the road for work, so it's like, oh, well, why don't I come over there and get a little piece of some?
Yeah.
You know, and
gross.
I think that part of the scene was just there to remind everyone that right before Sue Ellen said JR's wonderful.
That he's a piece of trash. Yes.
Yes. And he's more smirking.
But I love the side eye that Dr. Elby gives Sue Ellen when she's saying that too. She's just like, no, he's wonderful. Everything's between us is amazing, and it's the best it's ever been, and it's only good. And he's just like, okay.
Right.
He knows she's unloading some bullshit.
Yeah. Your JR is wonderful, and everything is perfect, and Dr. Helby has the greatest head of hair on the planet.
Right. Yes.
Yeah.
Awful. So we cut to South Fork, pre-dinner drinks.
Yeah, I couldn't tell until the end of the scene if that was pre-dinner drinks or after-dinner drinks.
Oh.
I don't know, but I will say two very, very wrong things. This scene is Jock's glasses, and Lucy is wearing blue on blue on blue on blue on blue.
Yes.
Sorry.
I agree with both of those.
And I guess that's why they call it the blues.
Blues.
Yeah, Jock's glasses... I've brought them up before. They are way oversized for his face.
So big. They're so large.
And that yellowish tint.
They look like They look like glasses large. Linda Richmond would wear on Saturday Night Live.
Yes.
Now I'm verklempt.
Yes, definitely. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So I
Lucy
guess I was thinking
in.
I was thinking it was pre-dinner drinks because Lucy walks in like she's there for dinner. Is what I was thinking, but I could be wrong. But yeah, Lucy busts in.
I didn't know until late in the scene when they said it was dinner time, whether it was before dinner or after dinner.
Yeah. But Lucy comes in full of energy because she has one of her brilliant ideas, and that is to have a barbecue so Mitch can come over and meet her friends.
A few friends.
Oh
just a couple of friends.
A few friends. Yeah. And Jock tells her to ask Miss Ellie. And Miss Ellie asks what the occasion is, and she says it's about Mitch. And she goes on about how wonderful he is and his honesty and
how nice he is.
He's a real man.
And Jared goes, oh, well, that should work well for Bobby. You should give him a job at Ewing Oil. He'd fit in right there. And Lucy said, oh no, he has a job. He parks cars. And Jared goes, oh well, at least he's got a future ahead of himself.
Jared's so fucking mean.
Everybody's mean in this scene. Yeah,
I mean, he is. He's just fucking mean.
I just love these actors and actresses. Just their off-screen personalities just really bleed into these characters, and you can really see in the beginning of the series they were really trying to figure out, getting to know each other. But now they're really starting to. Oh
yeah, they've known each other for years.
Get
at this
along
point.
with each other.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really starting to come across in some of the deliveries of their lines and just the way they play out different scenes. And
I like when Lucy describes Mitch as a real man, and Bobby just says, "That's the best kind." Okay, that's just sure.
And then, but
and he makes that face where he puts his eyebrows out.
And then after this whole thing, Lucy goes, well, Granddaddy, can I? And then he tells her to ask Miss Ellie again.
Miss Ellie's right there. She can just answer if she wants to, I guess, right?
I know. Chime in, Ellie.
And then obviously Sue Ellen says, "Oh, well, Lucy, you've never really had the best luck with your men, but
I'd like to say she says that with claws out."
Yes. Maybe you'll get a little luckier or a little wiser this time. And Lucy goes, "Well, we can't all be as fortunate as you, Sue Ellen."
And then Ellie breaks it up.
Ding,
She's
ding,
like,
ding,
okay,
dinner time.
okay, all right. Break it up.
You won.
I can just hear like the dinner bell going in the background. Ding, 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 ding.
Yeah.
Soup's on. Come on, get it.
And then after dinner, up in the bedroom, JR is venting to Sue Ellen. He's just so annoyed with the whole situation. And then he says he's going out, and she just kind of looks at him, and he's like, "Business, I promise."
We've heard that before, but here's the qualifier. What comes next?
Oh, when she asked him, "Should I wait up?" And then he said, "By all means." And then she just like gloats to herself in the mirror, like, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna get some."
She's like closed her jewelry box, and she's
yes, oh yes,
I've got him back. She's so stupid.
More smirking.
God, yeah, smirking, and
I want to be like, "What a dumbass you are."
I hate it. She's so easy to fool. I hate it.
There's a lot of smirking in this episode.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then when JR has to walk past his parents to leave the house, he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna go help Bobby." Yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Help Bobby.
Help Bobby fail. Help Bobby fail.
Right, exactly. Yeah.
Yes. And in that scene where I noticed the camera angle, you could actually see the upstairs railing.
Oh, could you?
Over JR's shoulder.
I did not notice
and you
that.
never really get to see that. And it had that little curve that from the side that we don't really see when we go up the stairs. So it was just like, ooh.
So Jock and Ellie, they really feel caught in the middle of everything right now. Which, yeah, they would. Yeah.
And the way Bobby went about it really sticks in Jock's craw. Jock, I don't want to know about your craw, okay?
Yeah. Which I can actually see. I can see Jock's point a little bit here. Because Miss Ellie's just like, her only thing is like, Bobby has to be in charge because that's what's going to make him stay. And that's all I want. And then Jock's like, yeah, but like he's never taken an interest in it before. And like his whole life has been using oil. That's what he's wanted to do. He's been doing it the whole time in training. Bobby never had an interest until very recently.
Been in the office, in the fields. Bobby was out sowing his wild oats.
Right. And now we're just taking away from JR and just giving it to Bobby. And I actually kind of saw Jock's point a little bit when he said it that way.
Marketing opportunity. They could sell Bobby Ewing's wild oatmeal.
But then that'd be
sowing his wild oatmeal.
Cream of oats. And I'm going to take a pass on that.
We have the J.R. Ewing ascot and the safari jacket and Bobby Ewing's cream of wild oats.
Did you say cream of wild oats?
I did. I'm sorry. It was a little salty.
Just kidding, y'all. You know I'm so crude. I think it's funny.
But Jock and Ellie both mentioned that they don't want to lose a son, but I think they're both thinking of different sons.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And you can tell. Jock doesn't want to lose JR. Ellie doesn't want to lose Bobby.
Yep. Yep.
And they say another. They say another, meaning that they're acknowledging that Gary is not there.
Right. Because he moved out of the house. What? Okay. Anyway.
Imagine if we lived in a world where all parents were like that. Nobody would ever. Little House on the Prairie again. I don't know.
Yeah. So then we get Lucy going to Mitch's house or apartment and trying to invite him to the barbecue she already planned just for him. And he's just kind of like, he's trying to get out of it because he's just, it isn't his thing. He's like, I gotta study. But she talks him into it and charms him. And he's like, all right, I'll be there. Because she's like, it's just gonna be just a couple people.
And she was so really happy.
Yeah, it was a reluctant agreement.
Yeah.
Very reluctant.
So then we see where JR really went.
To Sally.
Yeah.
To
Out
discuss
to dinner
the
with that
wonderful...
lady.
Right on
Right
top of that, Rose.
To discuss their wonderful past times and a business venture that would shaft somebody.
Shaft somebody.
JR goes,
Is this...
JR says, well, what makes you think I would ever want to shaft anybody? And he smirks.
So, do you think this is double entendre, or am I just taking this also in a dirty way?
No, I think it. What is it called whenever?
I don't know.
I can't think of the
Okay,
word. Just
all right.
keep going. I'll think of it. It'll pop in about 10 minutes, and I'll be like, oh,
Anyway, yeah. Yeah, he like pretends to be hurt, like, oh, well, I would shaft someone, and then they both laugh.
You almost want to see the twirling of the mustache. Ooh,
He might as well be. He might as well be.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so then we cut to the pool at South Fork, and Sue Ellen's laying in the pool, and then Bobby's walking in. And after the venting session at Dr. Elby's, you know this is going to be awkward.
It's very awkward.
Sue Ellen, in the pool, she gives Bobby the cold shoulder.
Oof. Yeah,
And
definitely.
it really
Right.
reminded me of when Ray came up to Sue Ellen the morning after their little tryst.
After
Yeah.
they did it.
And she's like, it's Mrs. Ewing.
Yep. It's like she acted like
It's
she didn't know who he
Mrs.
was.
Ewing. And she gets up and walks away.
Yep.
This is like Sue Ellen doing the same thing to Bobby, although they didn't sleep together.
Yeah. No.
But it's just that same treatment of
And just the
she
flip, the like
gets off the
180.
float and she walks away.
And you could tell he's like, what just happened?
Well, but whenever JR comes out, she goes up real fast and grabs his arm, like you were talking about, being like behind his back. Like
I know, I hate it. I
it's
really
it's
hate
so
it.
annoying. Watching her walk away was the most annoying.
Because she gets awful. Standing by her
and-
man.
And Bobby talks about how when he was little, he never wanted to be part. And now that he likes it. And Sue Ellen goes, well, while you're playing president, like it's a game, what's JR supposed to do?
And he's like, you begged me to stop him, like, not that long ago. And so I did.
And she retorts, well, you're the one that needs to be stopped now.
Yeah. And he's like, all right. Where did that come from?
You're like, that went in a totally different direction than I was planning.
Exactly.
She gives Bobby these cold, icy dagger looks as she gets up to walk away, and JR comes out in this outfit. I'm sorry, the blue bathrobe,
Right.
pale blue,
Yes.
the cowboy hat with the nice feathers on it, and
And
Karen
rose-colored
McKenzie from
glasses.
Knots Landing's rose-colored glasses that she wants because she
That is
wants to be a
correct.
Pollyanna. Well, I'm sure JR does not see Pollyanna view of the world through his rose-colored glasses. No.
No.
And
He
for
sees
anyone that doesn't
JR's
watch
world.
Knots Landing, go Google Karen McKenzie's Pollyanna speech, where she's talking to Gary about being a Pollyanna. But that outfit is just... I started laughing when I saw JR come out dressed that way. He's not always known for his fashion sense. He's walking around his house in his yard with a cowboy hat on and a bathrobe.
In the bathroom.
But I don't think I've ever walked
What's
out to
that?
a pool with a bathrobe on.
You have a
I
pool?
don't think I've ever walked out to my pool
Oh.
when I had a pool.
So you
Well,
have
I
a pool.
used
I'm
to.
coming over.
Growing up, I've never saw my dad come out of the house in red to go get the swimming pool. Girls wear cover-ups, but not men,
Interesting.
usually.
But that is just... I'm sorry, that gets a head scratcher for fashion sense in this...
Yeah.
I mean, the cowboy hat has the
Yes.
feathers all around it, and he wears one later in the episode too, I believe. Or does Punk Anderson wear one with feathers on it too?
Yeah.
He does.
I want to know who's doing the
I don't know
cowboy
if
hats
this episode,
in
he
this
does the
episode.
one.
No, it's a good question.
I want one. And JR says he's going to paddle around the pool for a bit, and Sue Ellen goes off with him.
And they look so cute in that scene.
Yeah,
I don't think I've ever
you're
seen
right.
them that laughy and playy.
Oh yeah, that was a couple scenes later when they're in the pool.
Yeah. Yep. No, it's coming up though.
Oh, I thought that was the same.
Because first
Cut
we have a quick...
to inside. So Pam's coming down the stairs. Why is it so often that when the phone rings and the person coming down the stairs, it's always a call for that person?
Good luck. Good luck.
I don't know.
Okay, so that was just a quick scene for Pam.
Yeah.
Then we jump back to
Jock and Ray. Mm-hmm. They're hanging out again. And Jock does not want to go home because he doesn't want to go to Lucy's barbecue.
And who do they run into again?
Punk Anderson again.
And Pat Powers. So they go to a cattle auction, and young kids today are really taking over, aren't they? Yeah, they sure are.
I guess so.
It just makes Jock feel more like a dinosaur.
Yeah.
Poor Jock. What do you do with your days after building this oil company and working out in the fields and wildcatting and all this?
He's bored.
He's as bored as all feck.
Yeah. So then we come back to the pool at South Fork, and everyone is having like a super leisure day. They're in the pool hanging out, both JR and Sue Ellen and Bobby.
Opposite sides of the pool.
Opposite sides.
JR and Sue
they're
Ellen
not talking. Yeah. Yeah.
It's very symbolic of the gap between them as brothers right now.
Sides.
And then Pam comes out and she tells Bobby that she is going to have lunch with Cliff. And that she's going to tell him that her mom might be alive. And then Bobby gets that look on his face like, ugh, like really? Yeah.
Don't get your hopes up. I've got a lot on my plate right now. I don't need to deal with your crap.
Right? Oh my! Like that came out awful.
Yeah.
Like I don't want to have to worry about you because I have enough shit I have to worry about. So I don't want to worry about you too. And it's like, oh, ouch.
Well, and that really irks Pam's chain.
Yeah, as it should.
And
she walks away as she should.
And just to update people, she does drop the line that Cliff's working on Dave Culver's campaign.
Yeah.
Just to give a little exposition or something there or whatever.
And then we have Bobby looking confused as she walks away, super pissed, and then we cut over to JR and Sue Ellen like canoodling in the pool, being adorable.
That's what I was talking about, yeah.
Really showing the contrast of their relationship, where their relationships
which is usually
are
the
at
opposite.
right at this point in time. Yes.
Yeah.
And I bet you they were having fun with this.
Yeah, of course they were. So then the Jock and the boys go for a beer. And, 1980 was there only one kind of beer? So, when you say, because they're like, beer's for all of us. So, all right.
They're
here's
all
a
that
beer.
can.
A beer, generic beer from the store.
Exactly.
Although early in one of the episodes, I remember they were in downtown Dallas and a Dr. Pepper truck drove behind them.
Oh, that's right. Yeah.
Unintended product placement.
Uh-huh.
So they're going for generic beer and steaks, and Jock's getting bored, and Punk proposes a business at some swamp on the Texas-Louisiana border.
This is something to keep them busy, I guess, right?
Wheeling and dealing like the old days. There'll be plenty of wheeling and dealing.
Because that's what they want to do. Wheel and deal.
Not be retired, have something.
What wheeling and dealing goes on in a freaking swamp, for God's sakes? It's a swamp.
Right.
No.
I bet we're going to find out.
I mean, the most famous swamp wheeling and dealing was Walt Disney getting that land in Florida, which was swampland, and building Walt Disney World out of a swamp.
True. That's true.
And that was some true wheeling and dealing, getting all that land under dummy corporations.
Buying it out from all those people for nothing.
Right. And if Tufts University in Massachusetts did not surrender the mineral rights, all of that land purchasing would have been for naught.
Wow.
So they go to get a table, and they pass some guy, and, oh, yeah, you're still working at the South Fork, I heard him say. The South Fork. Like there's more than one South Fork.
Yes.
I called him a creepy guy, asked the waiter who the young guy was and the old guy he was with.
And he's all like, that's Ray Krebs, and that's Jock Ewing. And then he's like,
that's Jockstrap Ewing. That's a little...
He had an interesting reaction.
Who's this guy? It's always some schlub at a bar that turns up and has an interesting reaction.
That's true. Okay, and then we cut to Mitch, Mitch is a pretty nice car for a poor guy. I feel like it's beat up, kind of, but It's a Mustang.
pale yellow Mustang, right?
I love that
Yeah.
Mustang.
Seems like that'd probably be worth some
What's the
money.
name?
Am I wrong? I don't know a lot about cars, but it seems like it.
It's like a.
He pulls up
Well,
to
it
the
would
South
now.
Fork for a barbecue with a few friends.
A few friends, and it's like a million people there. And did you guys notice that there is a
That's what
guy
pissed him
doing
off.
fancy fucking flips off of the diving board over and over again? Like,
Yeah.
like triple, like he's like doing the triple Lindy off of the diving
Yeah.
board.
Is it the same guy every time he runs? It's like huge.
Yeah, he did like over and over.
He's getting ready for the Olympics.
Yeah, basically. I'm like, all right. It seems like you might get a head injury if you do that in the Ewing pool, but okay.
For a few friends at the ranch, there's a valet parker. There's a massive amount of chicken on the grill.
Yeah. Yeah.
Was that Raul doing the grilling?
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, Raul was doing the grilling. I was sure it was like catered.
I wonder how good of a cook Raul is.
I don't know. He's good at serving the food. I don't know.
But let's talk about Mitch's outfit there. He's wearing the typical 80s shorts with the stripe.
Mm-hmm.
He's got the striped socks pulled way up, and he's got that tank top, and he brings his own towel.
Yeah, that's right. He does bring his own towel. Oh, it's adorable. Because he thinks he's just going to a little thing. He doesn't know. And I feel like this is the first time he's been at South Fork, so I don't think he really even knew what to expect. And my favorite is they're walking through the crowd, and you can hear like the background conversations going on, and they're all just like rich kid conversations. Like, so Acapulco is really nice this time of year, and
Even before he starts to walk through, he says, "Oh, damn."
right. He's just
Did
like,
you pick up on that? Yeah. Oh, damn.
Yeah, yeah. He was. It was not his thing. Like he immediately wanted to leave.
He's very uncomfortable. He doesn't do well in crowds.
No,
and
I think
Lucy
he has
says,
some social
This isn't a
anxiety."
crowd.
Yeah,
This isn't a crowd. This is a small part. This is a small
A
party.
little bit of a crowd, Lucy. Yeah, I think Mitch has some social anxiety, and mostly like it's not his thing.
If there are a line of cars up and down the South Fork driveway, and you have a guy parking cars, it is not a small party.
If there's valet at the party, it's not a small party.
It is a goddamn crowd. Okay.
Right.
Lucy, pull your head out of your rich ass and look around you.
Yeah, she can't even. So Mitch is just all weirded out, and she's not even picking up on it.
Yeah. Right. And then Cliff arrives at Pam's office. She's in the office on a Saturday. I don't know why she stopped off at the office. Were they meeting at the office? I thought she was going to meet him at a restaurant.
Right, because they're going to go
when
to
she
lunch.
left South Fork.
Yeah. Yeah.
But then they cut to her in the office doing some work on a Saturday.
I think everyone
I
just
don't know.
wanted to avoid the party, honestly.
Yeah, because they
They're
don't
like,
want
all
to be
those
around
damn
some
teenagers.
and some guy that parks cars.
Yeah, right.
That's-
Well, Pam wouldn't have had
that's
problem
not-
with the guy who parks cars, but
That's not their kind. Well, remember, Cliff was married to Ed Haynes for 2 seconds. So, and although he was a Vietnam vet.
I think you said Cliff was married to Ed Haynes.
No, Pam was married to Ed Haynes.
I thought you accidentally said Cliff was married to. I was like, I don't think that was part of the story.
No, Pam was married to Ed Haynes. So yeah, Cliff arrives at the office.
Yeah, and Pam, she's basically like, I can't eat because I'm all wound up.
He's rearranged his whole day for this lunch. What?
Right.
What is your schedule on a Saturday, Cliff, that you need to rearrange your whole day?
He's a busy guy.
Yeah, he's working on Dave Culver's campaign.
Yeah, there's a lot to do on Dave Culver's campaign, I guess.
Probably wants to get Donna in the sack.
I'm sure. So Pam tells Cliff the news, like, hey, I think her mom might be alive. And Cliff does not have the reaction that she thinks he's going to. He just is just like, why are you doing this? She abandoned us. Like, don't forget that.
And she's pinning all her hopes on the fact that someone saw her in a town 3 months after she was supposed to be dead, 30 miles south of Corpus Christi.
Right. And he's just like, what are you doing? Like, why don't you
Anything
and
could have
Bobby...
happened in those 20 years.
Right. Why don't you and Bobby just pick up, move away, and start a family, which is like the most sensical thing Cliff Barnes has ever said. And
leave the Ewings and all. He has to bring the Ewings into it again. He couldn't just have a conversation with her about
he's not
her
wrong,
situation.
I mean, because the Ewings
Right.
are part of their problems, Bobby and Pam. So just pick up, move away, start a family, do your own thing, forget all this, and
that was a trigger to Pam right there. Start a family.
because she can't do it.
Beginning of the end.
Two miscarriages.
Sorry, spiral.
Because she's just like, I can't do it. Like,
Cliff knows who his father is, as she said.
right.
She didn't know her father. He was some South Fork drifter that ended up buried in the ranch with a bullet hole in his head.
Right.
And
So
she
their mom,
has no connection to
which is kind
anybody.
of insult. She's like, I don't have a connection to anybody except you're standing next to your brother who you grew up with and you guys were really close your whole lives. Like I understand her issue, but also like he's right there.
you're
That's
kinda
her
being
brother.
hurtful. Yeah.
You know, she has a connection to him. Yeah.
But I think she's probably she's stuck on her parental issues.
Yeah. She just
Cliff
needs,
knew who his father was, and
she needs some therapy about this whole thing. She really does. She needs to go see Dr. Elby or somebody because she's like, I can't go forward without going back. And it's like, well, maybe you just need to
Right.
talk to somebody because
She does, desperately.
Doesn't sound good.
Imagine if Dr. Elby had both Pam and Sue Ellen on the couch at different times, talking about their issues.
Right. He'd get the whole scoop from the house.
He could have stuck around for most of the series to be the Ewing family psychiatrist.
He could have.
And we could have seen his hair
Awful.
evolve
It
through
would
the
have been like
80s.
a spiked mullet at one point.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Could you imagine him going into the punk rock scene with the
About
hair
that one earring.
Dr.
and maybe an
Elby.
ear and one earring?
He gets like
Kind
a
of
full
looking
mullet
like
happening.
he could kind of go like Scott Valentine did on Family Ties with the long
yeah.
black hair.
Yeah.
I love Family Ties. Sorry.
Okay, so we cut back. I did too. We cut back to the pool, and okay, it's turned into like an 80s like teen / college movie.
Horrible.
People are playing chicken in the pool, and then you find out like it's for
And there's a
money.
crowd sitting around the pool
did
watching
either
them
y'all
doing it for
mention-
money.
Right.
Did either of y'all
what?
mention Mitch's outfit when he first got there?
Yes, Jock.
Oh, yeah, we went over that.
Yeah,
Yes.
but yeah, awful. Go ahead. Sorry.
Typical 80s like summer camp
Awful.
vibes.
Yes, definitely. Yeah. It's basically one of the terrible college movies that Lee McCloskey did in the 80s, which he did very many terrible college movies in the 80s. And I watched them all because I love him.
I only wish we could have gotten him together with Peter Richards.
Oh, Peter. I was like, what?
Oh, man.
Peter!
Oh, God. I can't. Oh, my God. I can't wait.
That is a...
Okay. So anyway, people are playing chicken, and all of a sudden it's like a bet, and it goes from $50 to $200, and you can just see Mitch's face where he's like, "Oh, I don't have $5. I'm not. What do I do? And then Lucy just
Lucy
goes
jumps
and
right
grabs,
in.
Yeah, she goes and grabs $200 from her wallet because of course she does, and Mitch is just like,
She's
I don't know.
she's in rich girl mode.
Yeah.
You're a rich girl and you've gone too far because you know it don't matter anyway.
I know that from the very beginning, Mitch is very like, I'm going to work for it myself. I'm going to do it myself. I don't want handouts. But do you think he got upset because he thought, oh, all these rich snobs, or because the woman got out of the pool and kind of upstaged him? Because he already looked upset.
I think both.
Everything was coming to a head.
Get the money, it's like, it was that male ego, I think.
Right. I think it's all of the above.
I think he was doing a slow boil from the moment he arrived and saw all the cars and the valet. And yes.
Yep. And he was just like, I'm out.
I mean, he's so abrupt.
And
He does that in more than one episode. The way that he acts, it's almost childish.
Yeah.
Even though I understand some of his...
Totally. I get it, but yeah, he doesn't handle it well.
That's the thing. You have Lucy she was born, so rich that she crafts diamonds.
She can't help what she's born into.
And right. So she does not have the perspective or the understanding of what someone like Mitch is trying to do and bring himself up from the bootstraps. And the closest reference Lucy made was in an episode where she goes, "Oh, well, I know poverty. My mother worked in a diner."
And he's like, "Oh my God."
Lucy, you don't get it.
A little, like she just wasn't gonna get it. Like he needed to introduce her a little bit more to his life, I think, to get it even a little bit. And he needed to be more patient because she wasn't gonna get it.
Right. And also, in her defense, also, and it could go both ways. Like you said, she can't help what she was born into, but she also can't help how she was raised. She was raised to be spoiled. So you're asking somebody to do a complete turnaround because you weren't raised like that. That's people conforming to each other unless you can compromise or learn each other's lifestyle. So that's not all her fault. And
you could see her trying to make beef stroganoff, but destroying it in his apartment.
Right. She was trying. She was really going out of her way. And she's terrible at it, but yeah. Aw, I feel bad for her.
And what shot do you have at even being able to even make toast when you have servants cooking for you from the time you're born?
And no mother to teach you how to.
Right.
Uh-huh. Right.
She needs some time working in the hot biscuit.
The hot biscuit. The hot biscuit.
So then we come back to Bobby businessing again.
Business.
I don't like Bobby business.
Yeah.
With Brady York.
Yeah. And
so the numbers in this one are 25,000 barrels a day at $40 per barrel, with the first delivery in 3 days, as the oil is coming from Venezuela. I just wanted to write the numbers down and throw them out there in case no one else wrote the numbers down.
And it seems like everybody's pretty much leery of Bobby because of his lack of experience or whatever. But Bobby talks a good game, and he's like, "Yeah, no problem. I'll be here in 3 days because of this reason." And the whole time, Bobby's like, "Yeah, it'll be no problem because it's definitely gonna be here." And he's like, "It can't be late," and just warning bells are going off.
You're setting yourself up for failure.
If he says it's no problem, there's gonna be a problem.
Exactly. And then Jock shows up to look at land maps of the Louisiana-Texas border.
Which they just happen to have in the office for some reason.
Because you can't Google that shit back then.
I was going to say, why don't you just get on his home computer and look it up?
Right, you're right.
And this is even before you would hear...
Oh, yeah.
Dial-up modem.
Exactly. Yep. But Bobby gets compliments from, what's that guy's name? Do we know what his name is?
Brady York.
Brady York. Yeah,
Brady York.
That sounds like such a soap opera name. Brady York.
It does.
Yeah, he gets compliments to Jock, and so that's nice. But you also know things are gonna go south really quick because of that.
Jock is caught off guard at this whole transaction unfolding in front of him.
Yeah,
he's
like, oh, he did a really good thing.
Deer in the headlights look,
weird.
but I'm gonna play along, and but it gets Jock to thinking.
Yeah, it's like, wow, that was actually pretty good of Bobby. All right.
Yes. Now we go back to Lucy and Mitch having their class struggle, acceptance, and who is a snob and who's not a snob type of argument.
Yeah. She shows up just as he's heading out to class, and
he's trying to brush her off.
She's just like, I was really pissed at you. Yeah, he's trying to blow her off, and she's like, I was really pissed at you.
I told myself I was never going to speak at you again, and
Right. He's like, but now I'm here to apologize because I understand maybe I did something wrong, so I'm apologizing to you. And then he's just kind of a dick about it.
Again, being a baby.
Again. Yeah.
He doesn't care about acceptance from her friends. And
it's so obvious that he does care. Like, that's the whole thing, is he feels like they're not going to accept him, even though they totally would. They wouldn't have given a shit. It's just Lucy's boyfriend, right? But I don't care about being accepted, but he does.
Yeah.
He definitely
And I love
does.
her scorned look when she's yelling at him when she walks out.
Right. She's just like, actually, like, why am I wasting my time on you? Like, you should have, like, I stand by everything she said. Like, you should have, like, not be this way, and you're the one with the problem, and so if you're going to be that way, then we're done.
It's your fault, not mine.
And I always find that when there is a problem, there are two sides to every story, and they both need to come into the middle.
Definitely.
He needs to get off of his thing. She needs to come down from her perch. He needs to climb up the ladder just a little bit, and they need to meet in the middle with Malcolm.
With Malcolm.
Yes.
I got that reference.
Yes. I love just slipping these subtle references into it. It's like Mr. Subliminal.
Yeah. So JR's fixing a drink for Jock, who comes home and says, actually, Bobby's doing a really good job. I didn't think he's going to do a good job, but he's making some really good decisions.
Mm-hmm.
And basically giving JR all the information that JR is going to need to do bad things to Bobby. Mm-hmm. Just filling him in on all this stuff. And then JR's like, yeah, I think, and then he's like, I think he should stay on as president. And JR's like, yeah, that's a great idea. Uh-huh.
Excuse me, I'm going to take my wife out to dinner.
Right.
Which, this next scene,
Awkward.
he says he's going to take his wife out to dinner, and then we cut, and it's pitch dark at South Fork, and they're up in their room still getting ready for dinner?
I guess. Right. Yeah.
Did they go upstairs and have sex?
Possibly.
They've been having a lot of that lately.
Yeah, I think they probably
Because he's fooling her.
Right.
Oh. Did he tap the oil field again?
Oh.
So anyway, like JR is far too giddy getting ready,
Yeah.
dressed for dinner. He's like super giddy.
rubbing on
and
him.
then we cut to Bobby is super proud of himself,
JR tells Sue Ellen that Bobby's heading for a fall, and nobody knows.
Oh, right. Which is why he's super giddy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then Bobby's far too proud of himself, so you know that this is impending doom.
More gloating from Connie, and all happiness and smiley.
And Bobby, Pam comes and he's like, "What are you doing here?" And she's like, "We're supposed to go out to dinner." And I feel like that's all Bobby does is forget that he's supposed to go to dinner with Pam.
I know.
Every time.
All
the time.
Forgetting about lunches and dinners and just boom.
Right. And then the phone rings.
Dun, dun,
Dun,
dun.
dun, dun.
As he's looking at him.
Yep. The tanker went down. He just lost $18 million.
And 600,000 barrels of
Doesn't
oil.
that just bite you in the craw?
Right.
On the bottom of the ocean somewhere.
Oof.
Hopefully they're in perfectly sealed containers, so that way we're not getting some environmental issues with leaking oil into the
Probably
ocean.
not.
Probably not. Right. It's probably bad. It's all bad.
So this is a pre-Exxon Valdez oil slick
Pretty
out
much.
there.
Yes. And
And
then
that
we
may
cut
not
to
be the last time they have a tanker issue.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then we cut to JR and Sue Ellen in bed.
Gross.
And Sue Ellen snuggling up to him. JR just keeps getting better and better.
Oh, God.
He's like, it sure
It
does.
sure does.
And end scene.
As the camera pulls up above them in bed with the sheets, slithering in the sheets.
So gross.
Yeah. Ugh. Yeah.
Sarah, that's not gross. They're a married
Well,
couple.
no, it's not.
Married
It's just
couples have
gross because
sex.
she's like, it's just.
I know, it's just
just because you know he tricks her all the time, and she falls for it every time.
Every time, yeah. He's just giving her attention, and that's all it takes. It's sad.
I know. Well, next week when we come back, we'll have Melanie back with us.
Yeah. Yes, we will. We'll have Melanie, hopefully. Knock on Formica. So I'm going to give this 4 bourbons and a Texas-Louisiana land map.
All right. I'm going to give it a 3.75 just because it's not my most favorite, but I like some things. And Mitch's tube socks.
Oh, interesting. And let's see. I'm going to give it a 0. No, I'm going to give it a, let's see, 4.15. And different. A pile of meat on the grill that Raul is cooking.
Nice.
Okay.
All right.
And I want to give just 2 quick shout-outs before we cut out for the evening. Just want to welcome my sister's best friend's mother-in-law from North Carolina, Lucinda Davis, is going to be listening to the podcast. So I said I'd give her a shout-out and welcome.
Hello, Lucinda.
Lucinda, hey.
And a special shout out to Sharon Henderson, who obviously just celebrated her birthday this month. She did deal with the coronavirus, and she is now in Louisiana, New Orleans, doing American Red Cross work for the hurricane victims. She joined that last year, and just want to give a special shout out to Sharon and all the good work she and the volunteers are doing in North Carolina. Not North Carolina. New Orleans. Yes. New Orleans. I was looking at something that said North Carolina. So a special shout out to Sharon, and keep doing what you're doing, everybody down there, and hopefully we can clean that area up and get them back to normal living.
Yeah. Yep.
Everybody who has been through South Fork over the years knows Sally Peavy, who actually, she's remarried. Her last name is Hammonds now. Sally retired this summer after over 20 years or 25 years, maybe 30, at South Fork as the face of South Fork. She was the head tour guide. She's decided to retire. So just a special shout out to Sally on her retirement.
Congratulations,
whatever you're doing now.
Congratulations, Sally, and thanks for everything.
Yes, hopefully we'll see you down the road somewhere.
Yeah, for sure. Well, thank you for joining us tonight. Check us out on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and now our new Patreon at patreon.com/UNBQ. And hey, we have like 600 followers on Instagram around. I'm pushing 4,000.
Let's make that happen.
So if you could help us, let's make that happen. If once we get to 1,000, then we'll do something special for that. So help make that happen. Tell your friends to follow, etc. Because we would like to.
I'm going to go streaking through South Fork. No. Just kidding.
We'll make it happen.
But we have a special surprise when that happens. So, yeah, awesome. So we will see you next time when we are doing episode 7.
Right on top of that, Rose.
Which is the 61st episode of the series, as I'm going by the book here, and it is called The Fourth Son.
Oh, right.
Dun, dun,
yeah, I actually knew that. Yes.
Spelled S-O-N, not S-U-N.
Yes. We will be reviewing The Fourth Son. Awesome. All right. Until then, bye.
Bye, y'all.
Y'all come back now, you hear?
Next on Dallas.
Sure is funny, isn't it? The whole ship just disappearing like that.
Act of God, Swella.
I'm warning you, JR. Keep out of my way.
We'll collide if you're in mine, I'll guarantee you.
Looks like I got here just in time to break up a brawl, huh?
Tell me,
After all these years, you bring out this story.
I figured maybe my luck had changed.
Don't you count on it.
You don't remember me, do you, boy?
I can't say that I do.
I'm Amos Krebs, son. Your long-lost daddy.